Good morning, Year 6. This is Tuesday's lesson in week 4 of our lockdown. Can you please make sure you have done Monday's lesson first. Even if you're doing this on a day that isn't Tuesday, it doesn't matter. You need to have done Monday's lesson before you do this one. So these 3 lessons need to be done in order. So make sure you have done Monday's lesson before you do this one, please. Right, assuming you have all done that, then this is our anchor task and we are still finding percentages of an amount. So it says there are 60 vehicles on the ferry. 20% of the vehicles are motorbikes. How many motorbikes were there? Okay, so if you look up at the supporting hands, it says what is 20% as a fraction. So we need to find 20% of 60. So we need to think about how best to find 20%. So have a think, 20% as a fraction. Let me just get a pen. So we should be thinking that's 20 over 100. If you cannot remember, then you just need to simplify. So 20 divided by 20 is 1, and there are 5 20s in 100. So we're going to find a fifth. Okay, so I'm going to do this way. We're going to find a fifth. So 1/5 of 60. So that is 60, a bit dodgy, divided by 5, which you should know because it is a times table fact. The answer is 12. So how many motorbikes were there? Well, we've just found 1/5 of 60, which is the same as finding 20% of 60. 20% of the vehicles are motorbikes, so there must have been 12 motorbikes. There is another way of doing this, which I'll talk you through on the next slide. We're also going to talk through the challenge on the next slide as well, but do pause and have a go at the challenge. 25% of the vehicles were vans, so 25% were vans. The rest were cars. How many, not what percentage, but how many cars were there? Remember, you've already used up 20% here. So 20% are motorbikes, 25% were vehicles. Think about what percentage is left over for the cars and then what amount that would be. So the next 2 slides are talking through this anchor task in a bit more detail, and it's quite visual, so hopefully you can see what it is that we're doing. So if you haven't had a go at the challenge yet, have a go and then we'll go through the rest. So this is what I just showed you with the red pen on the other slide. So we've got 60 vehicles, 20% of them are motorbikes. So 20%, 5 times is 100%. Remember, 100% is the whole amount. To find 20%, we're finding a fifth. So we divide by 5, which is what we just did on the last slide. So there's 12 motorbikes. What I didn't go through with you with the second method, which is quite a useful one to remember. So another way of finding this 20% that we're after is actually to find 10% and then just double it. Double it means times by 2, remember. So going back to the previous lesson, to find 10%, we divide by 10. So in this question, we're going to find 10% and then just double it. 10 times 2 is 20. So if we find 10% and double it, we get 20%. So in this case, we do 60 for our vehicles divided by 10, which will give us one lot of 10%. So 60 divided by 10 is 6, and that is 10%. We then get our 10% and we just double it. So we end up with 12, which is the same answer as we had over here. So 20% of 60 is still 12. So just 2 different ways of doing things there. Okay. This may look complicated. It's really not. This is just each step to work out the challenge. So even if you didn't do it, have a look at this and see if you can follow it. 25% of the vehicles were vans, the rest were cars. How many cars were there? We know there's 12 motorbikes, so we can work out what amount of vans there are. 25% is one of our famous fractions. 25% is the same as a quarter. So all we need to do is 60 divided by 4. So we can half 60 to get 13 and half it again to get 15, which leads us on to this little bar model. So we've got 12 motorbikes. We've now got 15 vans. The rest are cars. Okay. All we need to do then is add together the two that we know. So if we add together the 12 and the 15, the motorbikes and the vans, we get 27. I've put that here. And the rest are cars. Straightforward bar model then. We know the total amount. We know one of the parts. We don't know this part. To find this part, we have to do a subtraction. So if we do 60 take away 27, we'll end up with the remainder here. 60 take away 27, is 33. So the answer to the challenge is 33 cars. Now you could have done that slightly differently. You could have done 20%. Add 25% is 45%. So that gives us 55% to work out. But this leaves you with a bit of a difficult calculation until you've done the rest of today's lesson. To do this, you could find 50% of 60 and 5% of 60 and add them together. So actually this way, until we've got that information, works out a little better. Okay, that's it for the anchor task. So I will do your next video for the guided task in a moment.